Welcome to Mind Over Matter, where we feature young Jamaicans who are shooting for the stars. I'm your host, Margaret Boyne. My guest is only 20 years old. He's a singer, songwriter. He's visually impaired, but certainly not limited by circumstances. At birth, the doctors thought he wouldn't make it, but he's here today affirming the Jamaican proverb, "When not dead, not dash away." My guest is Nigel Hector, aka Nigy Boy. Welcome to Mind Over Matter, Nigel.
Thanks for having me.
And congratulations are in order. I see you making the rounds on social media. I'm seeing you everywhere. You went viral on social media recently. Can you tell us what happened?
See, it's a bit of a process, but I guess we have the time to sit and talk. I came into the eyes of the public around, let's say, September of last year. One night, I actually went home for the weekend because I'm on campus at the moment. I went home for the weekend and I came back to the campus one Sunday night, and I heard this lighter. It was a song by Shensia.
Fire up your lighter.
Yes. So I heard the song a couple of days prior, and I'm like, yeah, I like this song. Sounds soothing, has a nice melody to it. Friend of mine, I saw him post video of himself singing it. Apparently, it was a challenge, and I didn't know because I didn't read his caption. I went home, I came back this Sunday night, and I decided I'm going to record a video of me singing the same snippet that he sang, and I'm going to post it. If it gets like say 1,000 views, I'll leave it. If not, I'll take it down in 24 hours. That was like 11 o'clock, 11:30 this Sunday night. I posted, and then immediately I start seeing Artgensia, Art Romish, Art Russian. I'm like, why? What is this? What's this all about? So I go to sleep, and I wake up the next morning, and the phone is buzzing, notifications like crazy.
Yeah.
What's going on? I wake up and it's at like 5,000 views. I'm like,
What?
Something is wrong here. I put the phone down. I go to class online. I go about my regular morning routine, and I look back at the phone again, and it's going up and up, and in the teen thousands, and going up and up and up. And then I get a call from another friend of mine who I went to Murderbrook with, and she says to me that I'm being posted on all sorts of Jamaican platforms on Instagram. So she sends me the links, and I go and I look, and I'm like, yes, something is wrong here. People are looking at this. I didn't expect this. And then I don't remember it. I was doing something in the night. I can't remember exactly what it was. And then she called me again, and she's like, Shensia posted you. Like,
Yes.
So I go and I check, and I see like it got like, I don't know, like 30-something thousand views in like 17 minutes. And like, okay, something is wrong here.
Yeah.
So I go and I check my friend's caption, and I saw that it was a challenge. So then I change, I copy his caption basically, and just put the hashtags, and I see it going up and up and up, and my Instagram page blowing up. So that was the starter. And while that video was being posted everywhere, I did another one by another Jamaican, Dexter Daps. Yes. So I did one, I think it was called Breaking News. I did that one.
Breaking News.
I was feeling bored, and I did it. and Suba saw it. And he's like, yes, this one is gonna go viral. And then a couple of days later, I saw that one blowing up. He didn't repost that one on his page, but I think it was on his story, or he saw it on someone's story. And I think the person mentioned me, and he said, like, he replied to the story and said, he may not have eyes, but his eyes is in his voice. And I'm like, wow, that's just so poetic.
Yes.
And then it was about October now, late October, and he had this challenge on his page. Not really for the challenge, but someone that I went to school with in Meadowbrook, they went into the challenge. And I liked the video, I liked the post, I commented on it. And someone saw my comment, another girl that I went to Meadowbrook with. She saw the comment, and it was like 12 o'clock in the night, and she tagged me, and she said, I should do the challenge. And I was a bit hesitant. And I'm like, all right, maybe I should do it. So I sit there and I start thinking, and I wrote up a little thing,
Yeah.
little jingle, and I did it, posted it. Someone from my hometown in Mobe, they saw it and they started tagging hot extra apps. And then she said, at home I go by Peanut. That's what the ones I grew up around, the people I grew up around, they know me as. So she commented and she's like, Peanut, that one you're bad like, yes, babe. And I'm like, wow, what's gonna go on with this one? And all sorts of people started tagging him. So I go out. That was a Friday night.
Yeah.
Saturday morning to be precise. So I go to sleep and I wake up, people liking it, people viewing it. Some time passed, I put the phone down, put on do not disturb because the notifications were kind of driving me insane. I go out for the Saturday morning, I come back in the afternoon and I take up the phone and I see Dexter Daps reposts. Like, okay. All right. I'm really in the eyes of the public now. Those videos are going wild. Mind you, I'm just doing this for the fun of it. At the time. Those videos are going wild, going viral. And then a friend of mine, he says to me, why don't you make a TikTok account? And I'm like, TikTok is for kids. My sister uses that. Why would I do that?
Not anymore.
and he proceeded to make the account for me.
Yes.
And then he heard someone on Instagram, I guess, Dexter Daps came up with a new song at the time. I think Wi-Fi or something like that it's called. Or a day released. I wouldn't say a day, or day released when it came out. And she said, it's a beautiful song. I should try my hand at it. I did it. And she loved it. I posted it. And the people loved it. And then my friend said to send him the video. He's going to post it on TikTok. And he made the TikTok account. He's like, yes. So he posts it. And then the next day, it's at like 300 and something thousand views in like 24 hours. And then skyrockets. It's like 500,000, 700,000. And then I guess, I don't know who saw it, but somehow it got posted on, what's it called then? Pink Wall.
Pink Wall.
And I think, I'm guessing that's where Dexter Daps saw it. And someone sent it to him and he reposted that one. That one gained me some more traction. And then what really pushed me out there though was I did a snippet of Bob Marley song. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Okay. So I did a snippet of that one Sunday evening on the campus, and I posted that one. It got a couple thousand views. I posted it on TikTok, and it got like 2 million views in like 2 days.
Really?
Like, okay, something is wrong here. This one is gonna go crazy too. It looks like. Yeah, something is right here.
Yeah.
So I go home for the summer break, and I'm just there chilling out, and I see the video on Instagram blowing up more and more and more and more and more. People sharing it, people liking it, people viewing it, people following. And I'm like, I didn't expect Instagram especially to be looking at this video, and it's going up and up and up. And by, let's say, the end of July, the video has like 7 million views slash plays, and it's being posted on all these big Instagram accounts, World Star. So you know, like lots of American celebrities started to see it, and they started following my accounts. People from all over the world started following my account and viewing the videos, and that's basically how it happened. So I'm gonna say it was a process, but it was still like an overnight thing, and I still can't believe it to this day. It's mind blowing.
Wow, so you became an instant celebrity, Nigel. But let's start from the beginning though. Where are you from?
I'm from Montego Bay by origin.
All right, Oh,
Yeah, I spent most of my life in Kingston at the Salvation Army School for the Blind.
okay.
Yes.
You were born prematurely, and the doctors thought you would make it. They made some predictions. What did they tell your mother?
According to my mother, when I was born,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they said that I would make it. I would be here in the mortal coil, but here I am. I think they discharged her. She was gonna pack up to like leave the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
After she received the news, they put me in the deadpan.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently when I felt the cold surface on my back, I cried out.
Mm-hmm.
And the nurse, realizing that I was alive, they pulled me out. And
Okay.
she ran downstairs to meet my mom to stop her from leaving and tell her to go upstairs and go and see her pink baby. Why is she leaving and she's not going up to see her pink baby? She's not going to see her pink baby. So she returns. She goes upstairs and she sees me. And then I spend like the next 3 months in the incubator. I'm guessing the doctors, they still thought I wouldn't make it. So they didn't shield my eyes. The light in the incubator burnt out all the oxygen in my eyes. I was taken home, and then about 6 months later, they noticed that my eyes had a glossy look. And I guess they brought me back, and then I got diagnosed with a retinopathy of prematurity. So that's when they knew I was totally blind.
So, as a child, what were some of the challenges that you faced having this disability?
I wouldn't really say I faced much challenges. I was widely accepted by the people around me. I didn't have much social problems. I mean, I'm not gonna say that there weren't, for lack of a better word, uneducated people who made remarks and posed frankly illiterate questions. And at the time, I would cuss them out because I'm on a giant church. But besides that,
But it
I
didn't get you
yeah,
down.
no, and I didn't really face any discrimination because there were always people there backing me, supporting me. The family was there, friends were there, relatives were there, backing and supporting me.
Okay. So your family moved to Kingston and you were enrolled at the Salvation School for the Blind. Tell us about your experience there.
Yes, so I was enrolled in the Salvation Army School for the Blind at about 4 years old. Yeah, my family moved to Kingston for 2 years, where I used to travel back and forth from the school to home, from home to school. And then at about 6 years old, I boarded in at the institution. And then that's where I spent my formative years picking up independent life skills. I was taught how to make a bed, how to wipe a veranda, clean a bathroom, among other things. Yeah, so that's where I learned all those things and more. Met a lot of the friends I have now. Yeah, that's where I fostered my connections.
Okay. So when did they discover that you can sing? When did everybody say, wait, but Nigel can sing, man?
At about 7 years old, somewhere there. One morning I was at devotion. I feel like it was around the start of the school year. If I remember correctly. I was at devotion one morning and it was being adjourned and everyone was returning to classes. Mrs. Lee, the head of the director for the choir, the Salvation Army School for the Blind Choir, she saw me and she pulled me over and asked me to come and join the choir, or at least come and check them out. They're having rehearsals or later in the day at like 12:30. So I decided to go, and ever since I have been part of the choir.
So you were the lead singer of the choir. And you guys were on all together sing. I remember I used to make sure I watch that, And I mean, the choir was so good. Tell us about that whole experience all together sing.
It was certainly new. That's all I can say. I don't believe I'm gonna say we had the exposure to Jamaica, but I don't believe we have ever before been placed in the eyes of wider Jamaica until All Together Sing. It was a momentous occasion. It was really a brand new experience. We got to interact with individual students from respective schools, traditional high schools around the country. It was something new.
What were the other things that or competitions you entered?
So at the time we were entering JCDC. I think this is really the only one that comes to mind. There were others, and we used to go to lots and lots of events that were being held at different traditional high schools. Like they used to have like some social gatherings at some humongous churches, and we used to go there and be like guest performers at the events. So it was something. I remember when they used to have like caroling, kettling. That's it, at the Salvation Army, and they used to have this event. I can't remember exactly where it's kept, but like Sagicor and BOJ and
I think and BNS. I think
yes. So they would have this
at Christmas
gathering.
kettle.
Yes, the Christmas kettling, the caroling. So we would go there for a couple of years, and we would perform there. So that's how we gained exposure to Jamaica.
But I remember seeing you at Salvation, Nigel, at Salvation Army, and I know sometimes when you have practice, a lot of times I used to see you in there hiding.
That's so true.
Yeah, man, I used to see you there like, boy, not today,
Yeah, I used to hide away lots and lots and lots of times. I used to run away.
Yes.
I used to run to the compound, run to my room and say, all right, I'm not gonna come out until I hear the bell ring and go to class because I don't want to go to practice. I love music, but at the time I didn't love it that much to say, all right, I'm gonna stick with it and maybe someday it's gonna be a career path for me.
So you did GSAT at the time, and you went to Meadowbrook High School. Did you continue singing at Meadowbrook?
Yes, I sure did. Granted, it was not by choice actually, but I grew to love it. So here how the story goes. Actually, the year prior attending Meadowbrook, before I passed, I feel like they wanted me. I feel like they knew I was gonna land there.
Yes.
I don't know. I went to orientation, and I was recognized by let's say by the faculty. A good number of individuals on the faculty. They remembered my face from the year before on All Together Sing. And they were like, "Oh, I'm glad we have you now." And
yes.
I remember. I remember my first week starting high school. Thursday evening, I was called into the 7th grade coordinator's office. And she sat me down, and I'm like, "Miss, am I in trouble?" Because every time I'm called to an office, I think I'm in trouble, even when I do nothing wrong. And she's like, no, I just want to talk to you. Just want to talk to you. Okay. And she says, "I would like you to sing at devotion tomorrow." And I'm like, this is so sudden, first of all. Yes. I really, really, really did not want to do it because I didn't want to be, say, exposed. I wanted to go to school and live a normal life and go home.
Forget about music.
Right? And she I didn't want to do it. She pleaded. And I'm a sucker for that. So I can't say no. It's kind of hard. So I gave in, and I'm like, sure, I'll do it. She said, all right, don't do it tomorrow. We won't have you do it tomorrow. We're going to have you do it next week.
Okay.
Just to give me time. So I go back to the Salvation Army School for the Blind. I tell Sanjay, my friend and producer now, I tell him, and he's like, "Wow, this is an opportunity for you." I told Mrs. Lee, and she was excited. So we started looking for songs to sing.
Okay.
They said, "Why not do this Kevin Downswell? If it's not you, then it's not you." So I spend the evenings after school practicing with Sanjay on the piano. And I would be singing just to get myself in shape. And then Friday morning came, the whole school was lined up on the basketball court because that's where they keep the devotions on Friday. So we're there. They called me up. People recognized me from the year before from the TV, and they were screaming. And my nerve was shaking. They knew the song I was going to sing. I related the information to them, and they started playing, and the words just couldn't come out because I was scared. And then I started singing, and then all I heard was this big uproar. The whole school going wild. I can't even hear myself. And I'm going with the flow. The nervousness is gone, and I'm gone with them. I'm singing my heart out, and I think I sang the song twice. And then I come down off the stage, and the everyone in my seventh grade line, that the line was line mash up.
Yeah, man, mash up.
Everybody they came and they were rallying around, amazing performance. My form teacher at the time, she was in tears. Other teachers were in tears. The whole faculty was in tears. They brought me up to class. I did I think I had like 4 sessions before lunch. Then lunchtime, like the whole 7th grade block was in the classroom, parading me around. They brought me to the music teacher to show me off. I couldn't even buy my own food. People bought me lunch. I'm like, this is not, this is something else. I didn't expect this to happen.
Yes, I could get used to this.
Yeah. I was out in the evenings going and take the public transportation, the JUTC. I have this big following of people coming with me. and yeah, that's how it went for the next 2 years while I was there. We did all together sing. That same year, I believe, we won. Yeah, that's how it went for the next 2 years. I was never alone. There was always someone with me.
So you migrated in 2016 to the United States. And what was that transition like, being visually impaired?
It was certainly different. Assimilating, it took a little bit of time, but I transitioned. Well, I don't want the accent. That was just not for me. But yes. I transitioned. There were like I've never ridden on a train before coming here. Even the bus, the way the buses are set up, certainly different. Like over here, everything is accessible. Even the buses, they have like ramps.
Yeah.
They let them down, and people with wheelchairs can wheel onto them. They latch them on when they go into the bus, so they don't roll away. There is like at the pedestrian, I don't remember what the name of it is, but there's basically this button, you push it and it predicts when you can cross the street from when you can't. Among other things, like the elevators are outfitted with braille. I never rode on an escalator before coming here, and
right.
All sorts of things. I will say that the trickiest thing for me though was being in the high school setting. Like when I talk English, I feel like I have to slow down and really think of my words. So being in a place where I couldn't break out into my patois and chat raw was certainly grueling experience. It was like there was only 2 other Jamaicans at my high school.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of them was ahead of me by 1 year.
Oh.
I don't remember. And the other one, I was in a couple of classes with her until we kind of fell apart because she was in other classes that I wasn't in, and my schedule didn't really align with her. So I they could see her on certain occasions. So that was really a change that I had to force myself to adjust to. Even in university now, even though I've adjusted, I mean, there are Jamaicans here, but I still have to speak the English and speak the English.
So you stopped singing while you were in high school there. What led to that?
In 2016, that was the last time I entered JCDC. I entered as a soloist. I made it to the semifinals, but at the time puberty was hitting hard, really hard. So this song I chose to sing was putting me through my paces, to say the least. At times, my voice would crack when I was reaching for
the note.
Yes, the high notes, and I'm guessing the judges, they noticed that on the night of the semifinals. After I think I was the last performer too on the night of the performance semifinals. They said to Mrs. Lee, if he continues to sing, no, the Nigel we know today will not be the Nigel we know tomorrow. So I didn't make it to the final rounds. I did still sing because I had to act as backup for another soloist. But after that, I was, placed on hiatus, and I came to the US. I really wasn't sure about how I was going to proceed with music. I was in high school, and they had a school choir. I joined for the first semester, but they weren't my cup of tea, so I dropped it, and I kind of left music alone for a while. And then I decided to venture out and take up what I wasn't familiar with. I picked up the saxophone and started playing.
Oh, really?
Just to be a little bit more rounded. And then a couple of years passed. It was like the height of my junior year, my third year in high school. Got a call from my best friend in Jamaica. And he's like, "Hey, you tap the music, my youth. You put on music." I say, "Yeah, my youth, man." The music
like
now work, you know. Yeah, him see him on. Put on music, tell him, say, music now work. And he said, "No, man, I don't want to hear that from you, man. You write a song." Because that's a part of the story I missed.
You were writing songs before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I used to sit down with the brailer under. There's a mango tree. I don't know if you remember that mango tree behind the integrated room. No, behind the IT room. Sorry.
IT. Mm-hmm.
Right there, I used to sit down on Saturday evenings or Sunday evenings with the brailer and my braille paper, and I would just be lost in my thoughts, and I would write, scribble, write, and Aji knew how to use this what would I call it? This recording software. And we used to just write and record songs to pass the time. And basically right now I was telling him, or in 2019, I was telling him that I was done with all of that. And he said, "No, write a song for me and let me hear it. Sing it and let me hear it." I wrote it and I sang it. I heard it, and he's like, "Yeah, my youth, if you do this thing, pick up the slack." So I said to myself, maybe I should proceed. Maybe I should still go through with this music thing and not give up on it, not run away from it. So we started recording again. This time, though, I was recording from my phone, because the iPhone has a little software that you can record through.
Okay.
Not the best, but it's powerful enough. So I used to record, like, get beats from YouTube, write songs and record them on it. And people were viewing them, not a large amount like now, but people were looking at it. We were getting like a couple thousands of views here and there. And that's what we were doing. Like, I would write a song, and every week we would just put up one. And sometimes we would just write and then record and just make this catalog so he has them to post. And that's how we did it until now, when everything changed and I kind of had to rebrand.
Yes. But you officially have a song out now. Tell us about that. What was the creative process behind that song? Because you're the songwriter, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So that song, I actually wrote that when Aji came to America by his house. If you can believe it, in the summer.
Okay.
So how the story behind this one goes is that one of the Jamaican girls, I was really interested in her. I was smitten by her. She knew this, but back then I ran away from it. I didn't tell her how I feel.
Okay.
And I waited too long. We were approaching like the last year of high school. College was underway. I wasn't going to go or apply to the colleges she was going to apply to, and vice versa. And I don't know, it really inspired me to write the song. I mean, I did ask her to prom and she told me, yes, she would go, but that was like a week before school shut down because of COVID. Here we are now.
Yes.
So, it never happened.
Wow. So how is that song doing? And what is it? What's the title?
It's titled "You and I." It's everywhere on all streaming platforms. It's doing its thing. It's performing.
Good.
I'm leaving it to time.
Right. Yeah.
It's music. You never know. One day it might be here, and there's only like a couple of thousands of people viewing it now, and a couple of years down the line, it's, I don't know, number one on all sorts of charts, or Billboard this and Billboard that in all sorts of countries. That's what I would hope for. That's what I want.
Right.
but
one step at a time.
One step at a time. In the meantime, I'll just keep working on other projects, releasing other projects when they're set to release, and hope for the best. Yeah.
I hear
work never stops.
Yeah, I hear persons comparing you to Frankie Paul and Stevie Wonder. How does it feel to be compared to those persons?
It's certainly an honor. It's an honor because those guys are legends. Frankie Paul in the reggae sector, and Stevie Wonder, globally recognized. So it's like this one girl. Every time she comments on an Instagram post, she's like, my Nigy Wonder. I'm like, I smile to myself. So it's certainly an honor.
Yes.
I wouldn't say I'm not there yet, but it's certainly an honor. I'm trying. I'm trying. One day I'm sure I'll get there. It's an honor.
Yeah. So you're presently in at university. What are you studying?
I'm studying history and political science. I intend to head into law.
Law.
Yes.
Great. But why law though?
So ever since I was young, I've had this let's say this desire to help and assist individuals in need, in times of crisis, if need be. And I felt like law was an avenue that I would be able to walk and assist said individuals. Grew up getting a lot of inspiration from Law and Order, the franchise on TV.
You're right.
I grew up watching a lot of that because my aunt, she watches a lot of those things. That one, and she watches like Criminal Minds and Miami Charged Up, all of them. So that's really where I got my inspiration. I used to love seeing the I can't remember what the guy's name is, DA Barber, the one that used to work in the DA's office, and he represents the plaintiffs, the victims. I used to love seeing him at work.
Okay.
Yeah. So he is what really, he is what really gave me the motivation to feel like, all right, I can do this too, and I feel like this is the avenue for me. to go about putting a smile on people's faces. Yeah, so that's really it.
Okay, that's great, man. So how is school going so far? Are you able to balance all this?
For the time being, yes. I know it's I know it's going to get very, very difficult as the years go by and as the work piles up, as I start like doing probably internships with law firms. But I signed up for this.
You're ready for it.
I knew what I was getting into the minute I decided, all right, I'm going to take on this music. So yeah.
Okay. So what has been the reaction from your schoolmates now about this newfound fame?
It's been nothing but positive. I will say though that many of them were following me even before I rose to quote unquote prominence. Fame.
Yeah. So no, but I'm sure you have more female followers now. How are you handling all of that?
It's an unimaginable amount.
Yes, tell me about that.
So it's really something. I remember the other day the university was having homecoming, like a big celebration event because they were inaugurating the new president for the college. Yeah. And at the end of the week, the inaugural week, they had this big football. Not football as in Jamaica, but handball. Yeah, football.
American football, yeah.
So they had this big homecoming football game. And like pre-game, they have this party called tailgate.
Okay.
And I couldn't miss the party, and I was going to miss the game. Yes. I mean, I don't watch football, but lots of people cheering. I had to be a part of it.
Yes.
So it was like the same week, I believe. It was the same week when the song came out. And I think it was the day after, actually, the song came out. So I went, and a friend of mine, she became like my promoter.
Oh.
So we're in the party, and this guy is in his car sitting playing some sort of trap music, and she goes to him and she's like, this guy, he put out a song yesterday, you should go check it out on Spotify and blah 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 and all sorts of platforms. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it now. So he goes and I don't know if it was his phone or what he was using. He goes on the platforms and he starts playing the song where they're like grooving and singing and dancing to it, and all sorts of people started coming up. Congrats on the new song. And then I see like this big group of girls, and they come up, congrats on the new song. Oh, my name is such and such. And I'm like, huh? This is something else. And she's like, I follow you on Instagram too. I'm like, oh.
Welcome to the world of rich and famous,
It was something else. It was something else. Even a couple of days ago, Wednesday evening. So I had an exam in this university. Their curriculum requires each student to be, say, a well-rounded individual after they leave the institution. So they want us to take like language courses, second language courses. So I decided to take Spanish. I do love the language. I was studying it for a while in Jamaica, but I forgot everything. And I came here and I couldn't get Spanish in high school because they were short-staffed. So I decided to take it up in college. I did they had the speaking section. I did the speaking section with my partner. We did very well, actually, and we came out. And there was this other girl in the class that we were walking up and down with around the campus after we finished. And my partner, she discovered that I had a presence outside of school. And she decided to become my promoter to this other girl, this other classmate.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, he's a very, very good singer. You should go check him out. And she's like, here's his Instagram. So she shows her like a video. And she's like, oh my God, I'm sitting in I'm sitting in class with a famous person. I'm like, no, stop it. So she goes and she checks me out herself, and she follows, and then the girl, like the other girl, my partner, she's following me on all sorts of platforms. So she goes and she's like, oh, you should check him out on TikTok too. So she goes and she's like, oh, so is your TikTok the same name? And I'm like, yeah, but just put an underscore here. And she puts the underscore where I told her to put it, and she goes and she's like, oh my God, you have over 260K followers. What are you talking about? I'm sitting in class with a TikToker. Like, in my head, I'm like, this is unreal. Like I'm not used to this.
But you're certainly enjoying it though.
Yeah, it's something else. It's a really, really different feeling.
Yeah.
It was, say, at the start of the semester, second, third week, somewhere there, and I was in an elevator, and I thought I was in the elevator alone.
Mm-hmm.
And the elevator was going down, and I was just standing waiting for the door to open, and I hear, are you Nigy Boy? Yes. She's like, I follow you on Instagram. Like, oh, really? And we started talking. It was another girl. It's something, it's very, very surreal. Something, I just have to say wow every time it happens, because it's certainly a different feeling.
All right, well, Nigy, I'm going to give you an opportunity to say thank you or hail up some persons who have been really influential in your life and your career.
I'm going to be honest. If I should sit here and start listing out all the persons come to mind who are influential in pushing me to where I am now and to where I will be going in the foreseeable future, it's going to take quite a long time. So with that being said, I will say though that they all know themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them. You all know yourselves, and I have to thank the world at large as well for walking with me on this journey that has barely begun. We have further to go, and I can only reach so far alone. But with all of you, we can get there. We can get there as far as possible.
What words of encouragement do you have to leave for, young persons with disabilities who feel that the odds are stacked against them?
My words of encouragement would be that the odds are not stacked against them. There is always a way out. There is always a light at the end of the tunnel if you search for it. Never believe that just because you're suffering from a physical or mental disability or any challenge whatsoever, that you can persevere and pursue a dream of yours, a goal of yours. You set your mind to it, and it's achievable as long as you tell yourself, and as long as you really feel and believe that you can achieve, and you're putting in the work to get where you need to go. You will get there. You will achieve. Never let yourself hold you back, because the only limitation that you have is yourself.
What I can say though, Nigy, you have confidence. You have a very good personality. I love it. And not to mention the falsetto, I don't know where you get the falsetto from, but you have all the ingredients to be successful. So I'm looking forward to it, and I know you can do it. The sky is the limit. And it was a pleasure having you here. And I'm looking forward to your next song. I love the one we're playing now. I'm looking forward to more.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here. I'm honored. Thanks for having me.